All right, we are back, Dan, with Let's Get a Win, letsgetawin.com. I am joined by our special guest, college football expert and Let's Get a Win's WTA expert, Hoda Bay Wins. How you doing, Hoda?
How you doing, Dan?
Man, doing good. Recording this on Tuesday, October 8th. Wanted to get some early lines in, see which way they go. We're going to only do college football, but I do have a premium ATP free play. They're at Shanghai right now. But let's dive right in. Wanted to go over the records first, man. 150 and 72, up 91.2 units on this calendar year. Again, 90% of this is tennis. We are 8-2 to start the tennis campaign. 8-4 overall, 4.15 units up in October. Last week, we both went 2-2, not the greatest overall week. I was down 0.25 units. Georgia Tech -9 was a winner. Bad loser in Arizona -6. They just couldn't get right. Had a letdown. We kind of discussed it. I hope that they were having a build up after that Utah game, but it was a pure letdown. Also in the NFL, I had the Cleveland Browns +3.5. Tried to take advantage of Jaden Daniels. It did not work. The guy's a stud. Heisman Trophy winner. Shoe-in for the Rookie of the Year if he doesn't get hurt. Dark horse MVP. You never know. Bad play. Cleveland +3.5 was a loser. Also, rebounded last night on Monday Night Football. Kansas City Chiefs -5.5 points. So 2-2, down 0.25 units for the official Let's Get a Win plays. Hoda Bay as well went 2-2, down 0.2 units. He had a big winner in Army -12. Wake Forest +4.5. He started out great. ECU -8.5. They get waxed by Charlotte. And then the over Green Bay, LA Rams 48.5. Thought he was going to get a backdoor touchdown later with the Rams driving, but Green Bay held them and got the win, and it stayed under. Hoda year to date is 7-6, up 0.4 units. Hoda, how'd you feel about the card last week?
I felt good going in, and like you said, after those first two, Army looked great, and then East Carolina was a big letdown. They just got jumped on early, and as I watched some of these games that aren't marquee games, I learned a little bit about these teams. I did it with Tulane earlier in the year, Army, and now Charlotte. Boy, I was impressed with Charlotte. They got a wacky head coach as far as the looks are concerned, the looks department, but I was impressed with their freshman quarterback. Good crowd at the stadium there, and so I'm going to keep my eye on Charlotte going forward now.
There you go. Get that data up as we keep going in the year. You hear it. We lose some. Our goal is 60%, but when you get those losses, you got to take advantage of them and build that data point. But we look to build on this. So let's dive into the first matchup we have. It's Ball State at Kent State. Hoda's got to play here. Who you like?
All right, we got some action here. As you'll see, there might be a small theme within my plays. Ball State at Kent State. I'm going to go with the home team getting the points. Um, right now, I got it at 6.5. This line opened at 10. Ball State -10, and quickly jumped down to 6.5. Kent State's 0-5 against the number this year, but being at home, I just think they're due, maybe even for an outright win here. So I'm going to go Kent State and the 6.5 at home.
Kent State +6.5. I did see they were 0-5, like you said, against the spread. They had a good outing last week, put up some points. I forgot who they played, but I know the defense has been terrible, but Ball State's got a bad D too. So this might be the first of 50 wins this game, but Hoda is on Kent State +6.5. Next up on the board, I do have a play here. Miami of Ohio at Eastern Michigan gets going at 2 p.m. Give me Miami of Ohio -2.5. Couple reasons why. Eastern Michigan, another team, 5-0 against the spread. Unlike Kent State, they haven't lost against the spread. And Miami of Ohio is traveling there to to me, I would have said more of a pick 'em here, but Ohio opened as a 3-point favorite, getting bet down to 2.5 here. Eastern Michigan hasn't played anybody. Let's be real. They played one probably bowl team so far. On the other hand, Miami of Ohio has played 5 pretty decent teams, 4 bowl teams for sure. So they've cut their teeth. They're 1-4, haven't won. Got a veteran quarterback, Blaine Gabbert's brother. I think Miami, Ohio goes in there, better team overall. It's a sleepy place to play, so no home field advantage really. Give me Miami of Ohio minus 2.5 points. Next up on the board, Hoda Bay's got to play. He's got the next two. Ohio at Central Michigan. It's a 4 p.m. kick. Hoda, who you like there?
All right, we're staying in the MAC here. I like Ohio. Let's see here.
I
Yeah, I
got you
got
at 3.
Ohio minus. Yeah, Ohio -3. Um, let's. I'm losing my space here. Yeah, it's at Central Michigan on the road. This line opened at Central Michigan -2 and quickly jumped to well, no, let's see here. Ohio opened as a 1-point dog, and now they're 3-point favorites on the road. That kind of line movement, Ohio doesn't have they're a decent team. So with that kind of line movement, going from dog to a favorite up to 3 points, starting as a 1-point dog, I like that movement. Let's go with the Bobcats of Ohio at Central Michigan.
Action all over the place. Ohio -3 at Central Michigan. I do like that. When you get a bet through 0 and now it's a 3-point favorite, that might even keep creeping up. Who knows? We'll keep an eye on that. But Hoda Bay's second play, Ohio -3. Hoda Bay's up next again. He's got to play in this Southern Miss at Louisiana Monroe. It kicks off at 5 p.m. on the 12th of October. Hoda, who do you got?
I'm going to take Southern Miss in the points in this one. On the road at UL Monroe. Monroe coming off a big win against James Madison. So I feel like there could be a little bit of a letdown. Southern Miss, hasn't looked great. But give me the 6. It also, that line should be, in my opinion, a little higher. More than a touchdown at least. So I like the 6 with Southern Miss on the road.
Southern Miss. I got you at +6.5, so we'll give you that hook. Southern Miss +6.5 at Louisiana Monroe. Monroe did just come off a big upset win over who'd they beat last week? James
James
Madison.
Madison.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so nice win. Classic letdown spot. Hoda Bay on Southern Miss +6.5. Next up, an official Let's Get a Win play. It's Penn State traveling to LA to play USC. Give me Penn State -5.5. This is based on a USC fade. I'm not a big USC fan this year. To me, you double team Branch on the outside, make Woody Marks the running back beat you. And classic scheduling. I've harped on this a couple times. When these two teams joined, UCLA and USC, as well as the Cal and Stanford in the ACC, I wanted to check their schedules. USC home, on the road at Michigan, back home, now, or on the road against Minnesota, now back home. So west, east, back west. So a lot of travel miles for USC. USC's 0-2 against the physical teams in the Big Ten. Michigan pounded them. I know it was a close game, but physically out-dominated them. Minnesota did the same thing. So I'm looking for Penn State to repeat that method. Give me Penn State at -5.5 points. To me, these two teams, Vegas likes both of these teams. USC being an 8.5-point favorite last week against Minnesota, that was crazy. Penn State's been monster favorites, 19 against Illinois. What were they last week? 29 against UCLA. Vegas likes these two teams. I like Penn State to take advantage of USC. Ground it, pound it. Penn State defense is great in the second half. Give me Penn State -5.5 points. Next up on the board, Hoda Bay has our closeout game. We only got 6 here. Got a little tennis talk after, but Vanderbilt at Kentucky, 7:45 kick. Hoda Bay, who you like?
I like Kentucky. Give me the Wildcats. They're at home. It's at night. Fans should be rowdy. Got a Vandy team off a humongous upset, maybe the upset of the year so far, beating Alabama at home. I just see a very we're in a letdown scenario here. They had a week, 2 weeks to prepare for Alabama, coming off a bye to play Bama. I just think they put all their eggs in that basket to beat Bama. Great win, not taking anything away from them, but this line opened at 13, or actually, I'm sorry, it opened at 10 and quickly moved to 12 and a half, and now it's at 13 and a half. Uh, Based on the big letdown from last week with Vandy, I'm going to take the home team in this one. And don't be surprised if it's a 3-score game by the end of this one. So give me Kentucky minus the points at home versus Vanderbilt.
Kentucky at home, minus 13 and a half against the Diego Pavia led Commodores of Vanderbilt. I like that too, man. Classic letdown. I mean, how they beat Alabama, who knows? But gutsy win. And now you got to travel to Kentucky. So I'm on with you there. Kentucky minus 13 and a half. The last Hoda Bay play. So that's 6 college football plays. I got the board pulled up here, Hoda. Anything else? I know you had a couple totals you were going to throw out there. Anything you like in the total field? I know it's not an official play, or any other games you're excited to watch this weekend.
Yeah, as far as totals, one really stuck out to me. It was I think it was the James Madison Coastal Carolina game. That opened at 55 and a half and currently sits at 62 and a half. That's 7 points going in the overs direction. Um, Two teams that can put points on the board. And yeah, offenses can move the ball. James Madison coming off a disappointing loss last week, and maybe they're down a little bit from that loss. Coastal Carolina could take advantage of that, but I think James Madison is going to put points on the board. But Coastal Carolina also can put points on the board, so I like the over right now. The line currently sits at 62. Actually, it might be 63 and a half. But yeah,
I see
points
some conflicting numbers there. So again, I always stress having outs and getting your best number. So currently on ESPN bets, it's 60 and a half. So if you like that, Hoda, go ESPN right now, bet it up 60 and a half at ESPN. But I do like that, good call there. Any other matchups stick out? That's a Thursday game too. So get that early. Standalone
Yeah.
Thursday.
One other matchup, obviously, I think it's the biggest game without a doubt on the schedule this week. It's Ohio State traveling to Eugene to play Oregon. I like Ohio State in this one. I just think from top to bottom, they're the better team, better players. I just haven't been impressed with Oregon this year. Their schedule, I don't think they've really played anyone. Dylan Gabriel just, to me, when I watch them, I don't watch every second of every game, but I just think he hasn't reached what I believe is his potential, going all the way back to UCF and Oklahoma. So give me the Buckeyes in this one. I mean, I know it's unofficial, but I like Ohio State to travel and actually win by more than a touchdown for
Yeah, I
me.
got it. I see the 3 here. You're right. Oregon, who they've beaten Boise State, Ashton Jenny earlier in the season, but Oregon State, UCLA, Michigan State, their first real test on Saturday night. So I like Ohio State minus 3 there. Nothing really. I'm going to watch this Penn State game. Of course, I have it at 5.5, but I'm interested. I like watching USC. I just think the physical teams get them. So Penn State, USC will be a matchup I'm watching. My Hurricanes are on a bye this week, so got lucky in that Cal victory. Another ACC matchup that stands out to me is Louisville, Virginia. Virginia could go 3-0 in the ACC. They get the Louisville Cardinals coming to Virginia. Louisville's a 7.5 point favorite. Virginia's an exciting team. Elliott down there's rallied the troops after all that tragedy stuff that went down, and they're a solid ball club. So watch out for that Louisville, Virginia game. Anything else you got your eyes on, Hoda, before we go over to tennis?
I'm always, I'm gonna watch Notre Dame at home versus Stanford. It's a big number, but I just want to see Notre Dame keep improving week after week. And they got some tough games coming up. The academies, USC later in the season. I think Notre Dame gets everyone's best game. Yeah, I'll be tuning into that. But other than that, yeah, Ohio State, Oregon, and to piggyback on you, Penn State, USC is a very intriguing matchup. I'm looking forward to watching too.
Florida at Tennessee, another rivalry matchup. A couple other decent slate, but you got the official plays, man. Let's slide over to tennis. I do have a premium play. It's ATP Shanghai. It's the last 1,000 Masters. I'm going to give everybody Tommy Paul minus 2.5 games at minus 115. I think it gets going about 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here tomorrow, 10-9. He's playing Tomas Mahak. Mahak just beat him last tournament. So another quick matchup turnaround. I think Tommy Paul gets him here, and I'm willing to lay the 2.5 games. Let's slide on over there. I know the tennis matchups there at Wuhan. Anything in WTA you like, Hoda?
I do. Magda Linette versus Lucia Tarasenko. Give me Tarasenko plus 3.5 games on this one. I feel like that 3.5 in tennis is similar to a 2.5 or a 6.5 spread in football. Uh, Vegas daring you to take the favorite to cover, say 6-4, 6-4. So I like the 3.5 on Tarasenko. So give me her.
Senko plus 3.5 out in Wuhan, China. Both of them out in China. Let's go over the draw here real quick, man. The tournament's down to 16 at ATP Shanghai. You got Sinner versus Shelton tomorrow. Tsitsipas versus Medvedev. Alcaraz versus Gael Monfils. Tommy Paul lay those 2.5 games against Tomas Mahak. Jakub Mensik, the 18-year-old stud against the veteran Grigor Dimitrov, Taylor Fritz versus Holger Rune, and Hoda Bay's favorite player, Roman Safiullin versus Novak Djokovic. So great matchups there, man. And don't forget about David Goffin versus Zverev. Wide open tournament. The big dogs are still there. Anybody you like to win this ATP Shanghai? Who you going with?
I mean, how can you go against Sinner and Alcaraz? I mean, I feel like it's those two at the top, and then slightly under them is an older Novak Djokovic. Djokovic can win, any tournament at any time, but right now, Sinner and Alcaraz are just dominating the sport. Guys like Zverev and Taylor Fritz. Those are two guys that keep an eye on. But other than that, I mean, Ben Shelton's exciting, but he's got Sinner here
I
later
like that
this season.
matchup. I think Shelton, he's played him well. I know he played him at Wimbledon. They've played a couple times here recently, U.S. Open too, I think. But that's an intriguing matchup. I think you're right though. Sinner and Alcaraz are the big favorites. I do think they want to match up before they head out to the ATP finals and maybe match up again. But man, tennis is in great hands for the next 10 years with those two. I mean, a great sport, man. Everybody check out letsgetawin.com. Get all of our premium play packages. I got ATP. Hoda's got WTA. You've seen the record, man. It's been on absolute fire. It's unbelievable how much money we're making our people just betting tennis alone. We're throwing out these college football plays for free. I got an NFL special coming out on Friday, but Hoda, I know I'm throwing you on the spot here, but got anything in the NFL or anything you're looking at?
Well, as a Bears fan, I'm worried about the trip to London and Jacksonville. Jacksonville uh, escaped with a win last week versus Indianapolis. Really tried to give that game away, but they ended up coming back after Indianapolis tied it and got the field goal to win. Other than that, Baltimore, Washington, rivalry. Let's see what uh, Daniels can do against Baltimore and that offense with Henry and Jackson, two-headed monster just leading the. I think I saw where they have the highest rushing yards for a quarterback running back tandem in NFL history to date through 5 weeks. So that run attack, let's see if Washington can keep up with them. They're an exciting, fun watch. They seem to have everything clicking. The head coach Dan Quinn, defensive minded. So yeah, look for Washington. I'm curious if they keep this up. I know that they've played teams that haven't had the greatest records, but it's the NFL, and if that is speaking anything right now, it's any given Sunday. I mean, you see
Exactly.
all the upsets. We're in an elimination pool, and guys are just chunks of people are just being eliminated left and right. Giants was a big upset over Seattle last week. Cardinals over 49ers was another one. So, I feel like the NFL, the parity is rampant in the NFL, and any team on any Sunday can beat any team. I mean, it's such a toss up.
I want to bet the Ravens. I keep wanting to fade Jane Daniels, but I think I've learned my lesson. But I am still alive in the survivor pool. 6 left in the main draw. Started about what, 350? So 6
Yeah.
left. Early looks. Everybody's probably on the Eagles or the Texans. But like you said, parity. Anything can happen any given Sunday. But man, Hoda, thanks for joining. Any last words? Anything else you want to throw out before we get rid of you here?
Just I'm down in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
We got this hurricane coming right over us, so I just want to tell everybody to stay safe, and hopefully you're ready for this thing, especially on the West Coast, Tampa, a little south of Tampa, Clearwater, Fort Myers. I just hope you know everyone's prepared and whatnot. So yeah, we're hunkering down, getting our last minute things done tomorrow, and then hunkering down and riding this one out.
Definitely, everybody stay safe out there in the Florida areas. I know North Carolina, where I am, got hit with Helene. So, man, everybody stay safe out there. But Hoda, thank you for joining us. And as always, let's win you money betting sports.